Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is your boy GZTV back with another video, and I figured before I started working on homework and stuff, I'd get this stream out for you guys real quick. This is one of two videos today. Obviously, I only made one video yesterday, so I had to, let's see, I have to kind of cram some stuff in tonight for basketball. We've been doing like doubleheader videos. But we are here with the 27th overall episode of The Sopranos. This is the season opener for the third season. We are already there. So if you guys have any show recommendations, I'll probably watch like Cobra Kai next or something like that. But if you guys have any other, like Snowfall, I've heard is good. Those are some shows that are in line. But if you guys have heard of shows that you don't think I have on my mind right now, and you want me to cover after this, let me know, because I'm just gonna keep watching different TV shows. So yeah, let's get into it. Obviously, we're going to get into what happened. Yeah. So the plot, like what importance this episode has, yada yada yada. So FBI agents are conferring about Tony Soprano. They're in the conference room discussing some things, like some plans, what action they need to take against him. They've been listening to his phone calls for years without hearing anything incriminating, and the recordings made by Pussy Bumpancero also reveal nothing. And Pussy hasn't like reported back to the FBI, obviously, because as you guys saw in the last season, and again, if you haven't watched this episode and you're not this far in the show, do not watch these videos because I talk about it. So like, yeah. So yeah, he wasn't revealing anything. He hasn't been able to report back to the FBI, so that's not an informant they can use anymore. So yeah, we got killed, obviously. So using Pussy's file number CW16, Agent Skip Lipari says that he is probably compost. He can assume that he's probably dead by now. Agent Frank Kubatoso removes Pussy's photograph from the wall and throws it away, because these are pretty disposable guys. Like, there's a lot of people in this criminal family that they can try to manipulate and take advantage of. So yeah, it's not really a big deal if they have to move from people person to person. So Lipari reports that Tony goes to his basement to talk with his associates, believing the conversations will be masked by the noise of the central air conditioning units, which is like kind of a strategy. Obviously, he's a super smart person who moves wisely. Yeah. So they obtain legal authorization to plant a listening device there. Obviously, Tony is not aware of this. None of the Soprano family members are aware of this, but they are legally able to do it. It's not like they're breaking the law. They just don't want to get caught by the Sopranos doing it. So once a week, the house is empty for long enough for the agents to examine the basement and later install the listening device. So they're kind of undergoing this operation to get this listening device stored in there, see if he's going to say anything incriminating. Now that the rat, Pussy, has been killed and eliminated, they think that Tony's just going to assume that we have no more rats in our circle. We're clean for now. We're cruising. That's not the case, because they're gonna wire the house. So the first week they enter and find an old reading lamp in which a microphone could be hidden. So they're kind of just inspecting the area, doing a field study, I guess, is what, like an environmental check. They're like, oh, we can paint a lamp, we can order a lamp, get the ID number on this and order the exact same lamp and like paint it just how it looks on the bait. Like, the FBI is really, really advanced with this shit, and especially with a case like Mr. Soprano, Tony Soprano, and this mob. It's just such a big deal. It's like one of the biggest cases in the nation that they go to crazy lengths to figure things out. So they take pictures of it so they can replace it with a replica with a hidden listening device, so they can again wire the house and the basement, mainly because that's where Tony takes his soldiers with him down. So in the second week, their plan is aborted when the house's water heater fails and the basement is flooded. And it's kind of ironic. What's going on, Chippy? It's kind of ironic because, like they were discussing before, look how nasty, look how rusty that water heater is. It's going to go out soon. And it does. So in the third week, they successfully plant the replacement lamp and start listening. So now that's going to be a development throughout the season of can they find some things out about Tony. So meanwhile, Meadow adjusts to life at Columbia University. She's going to college. That's an interesting storyline. And, since the family's separated, it creates a potential for more storylines, more like different focuses, and I feel like that's going to be really good for this show. So her volatile roommate, Caitlin, is having a hard time. She's kind of alcohol addicted. She's struggling with her academics. That's a pretty normal college thing, I think. But, yeah. So Tony and the crew eat lunch in the back room of Satrialis. Patsy Parisi is not eating, mourning his identical twin Philly on their birthday. I don't remember what episode they killed Spoon. I think his name was Spoons, they called him. But, yeah. Patsy suspects that Tony had something to do with Philly's death and that they set him up and got him killed, and he's obviously right, but there's a lot of bad blood between these two men. Tony doesn't sense it, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So, one afternoon, it's really interesting, while the FBI watches Tony's house, they see a drunken Patsy on the pool patio aiming a gun at Tony through the window. And it's not just out of, like, straight drunkenness, straight foolishness that he's doing this. Like, he genuinely hates Tony, and he knows that he did this, and Tony's trying to, like, soften him up and, like, condescend him and all this type of stuff. And this guy's like, wow, you want to treat me like that when I'm one of your brothers and I'm part of this family? Screw you, I'm gonna shoot you, pretty much type of thing. I know I'm a little quiet, but yeah. So Patsy can see Tony clearly in the house, but lowers the gun, turns around, and urinates in the pool. He had to get revenge somehow, and that was his way of doing that. Tony does not see any of this. It's really weird. So some days later, Tony confronts Patsy when they are alone. He tells him that the past is past. He compels and cajoles him into declaring twice that he has put his grief behind him. He can move on, become a big part of the family, maybe even become a made man, and all that stuff. Caitlin Rucker is a pretty interesting character that we get introduced to here. I'm just getting into some things. Meadow's roommate, so maybe they go to like parties and we get that classic like college entertainment segments on the TV shows that you see. But and apparently Skip Lipari, on the credits and stuff, Skip Lipari is no longer going to be a part of the show, which kind of sucks because I feel like he was a pretty important character for the series. But obviously without Pussy Bump Pancero, he's not really that important of a character. He doesn't really have a purpose. Those were mostly his only segments. So yeah, they just, he didn't die or anything. They just decided, nope, we're not going to cast him anymore on the show. We're just going to get rid of that character entirely. So really interesting decision by the show, but I feel like at the same time, when you think about it, it's kind of necessary. So yeah, anyways, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Later tonight, after all the basketball games, we are going to be talking about all the close ones. I got to watch my fantasy team and see if I can get the edge this week. I'm getting there, man, but obviously the NFL games are going on right now. There's only 4 games I have to talk about this week, and there's only going to be 2 next week, so that stuff's coming up. I don't know if there's any big albums coming up next week, but there's obviously movie reviews, more recaps,